So I forgot to record this part of the video, but it's a quick refresher to explain So I forgot to record this part of the video, but it's a quick refresher to explain the issues with the table method that we talked about before. So let's say you had a function f of x is equal to sine of x over x, and this is a graph for that, and you're trying to evaluate at the point x is equal to 0, right? So we talked about how you have direct evaluation, which is f of 0, so sine of 0 over 0, or you can evaluate with limits, which is just another way to evaluate where you don't evaluate directly at the point, you evaluate around the point and see what it approaches. Right, so then you can kind of think of this as a table where one side is x and the other side is sine of x over x. So with x, right, the middle of the table has a value that x is approaching. And above that is values less than the value x is approaching, and below that are values greater than the value x is approaching. And as you get farther up on the table, you get farther and farther away from the value, and then as you get farther below in the table, you get farther away from the value as well, right? So we decided to start at 0.001 and 0.001 and jump by times 10 for both sides, right? So then what you do next is basically you take the value, the points that you got, and you evaluate them by plugging them into your function sine of x over x, and you see what those values are. So you have 0.998334166, and then you see that you're getting closer and closer to a certain value, and then here you see the same trend, right? And we see that we're getting closer and closer to the value 1, right? So if you had to guess what this value was at 0, you would likely put 1. So there's a couple issues here, is that how do we know that these are good values to test, right? We're kind of guessing here. And then the next one is you're kind of eyeballing a trend, right? So you can't really, it's just eyeballing, which isn't like mathematically formal. So in this video, our goal is to, define a limit mathematically instead of as a table, and kind of try and link it back to this intuitive notion of, trying values as you get closer and closer around the value 0.